Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about the CRO Token, when to invest. So welcome. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like and comment. However, today it's a bit dark and dingy again. The UK, half of the country, sunny blue skies, up here, crap. So let's talk about it. Crypto.com's flagship, essentially the CRO Token, allows you to syndicate and also, most importantly, get rewards on the usage of said card. So in terms of how it works, mainly the exchange is powered by the CRO Token. If you're using MCO, which is obviously a bit different, that is mainly for the cards. But in terms of this, if you are using the exchange, now let me just quickly go into this. Obviously, if you do certain things and hold the CRO Token, you get, cool stuff. So in terms of this, just to give you an insight, obviously DAI is the next one. Basically, you hold so much of the CRO Token. The amount that you hold will depend on how much you essentially get. It's pretty damn good. Obviously, it depends on how popular the thing is. Some people not quite happy about it in terms of the amount. So it works pretty well, but you got to remember there's only so much discount allocation. So, you hold the token, you get allocated it, boom, 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 happy days. So it is pretty decent, but most importantly, it is a very, very good service overall in terms of having the whole benefit of having a utility token, essentially. So it does help. And obviously, the more people that are using the token, the higher the price will obviously go over time. You see that quite a lot with this token. It's gone up quite a lot in price. Like an exchange token, the more users that use it, the better it tends to be, because obviously the volume, the price action, all kinds of stuff. So that is it in a nutshell. In terms of other fundamentally sort of bits and bobs to talk about, currently ranking pretty high. It's doing all right. There's a lot of tokens though, so obviously the price won't be massively valued in terms of price. So quantity obviously matters, but there's a huge supply. So just bear that in mind. But there is a massive amount of volume because it does get a lot of usage. And you can see here over the price action of it, it's doing pretty well if you are literally looking to buy the token for the use case. Now, this is what we're kind of looking for in this video. Crypto.com as an entity, as a provider of obviously a very, very good service, in my opinion. Link below if you want to jump in and use it. Obviously, Crypto Mobster as the referral ID. But for me, I don't see anything as good as this as it stands right now for A, buying cryptocurrency, B, moving cryptocurrency around, spending it on the cards, and most importantly as well, the extras you get, staking, rewards, money back on your purchases, all kinds of stuff like that. So it is very, very good in my opinion. But not to mention, it has been around quite a while now, 2016. So let's look at the chart. Very, very quick look at the chart essentially, because we don't have much to go on realistically on, this. This is on the OKX exchange. For me, looking at certain things, people making weird noises outside, that's usual. For me, overall, this isn't really the type of thing to buy and kind of wait for it to go to the moon. This is a sort of a fluid sort of transaction, in my opinion, where you're going to use it, you're going to move it around, you're going to sell it, but they probably is going to be, in my opinion, a very, very long-term kind of move, depending on the company. So, as I say, this is kind of dependent on what, the world of, Crypto.com does, in my opinion. If they're bringing out good services, if they've got good assets on their platform and they're doing good stuff, getting people onto their platform, overall, that's going to reflect on the price. So just be careful with that. If there is some bad news, obviously we've seen with Wirecard. In reality, the Wirecard kind of debacle didn't really dump it that much. It dumped a little bit around this period, but it just kept on going strength to strength. So just be careful on that. So in terms of market structure, we'll look at the weekly time frame. It has been absolutely solid as an investment, as an asset. And it goes with the same sort of past feelings of exchange tokens. They do well. It's just one of those things. They just do well over time when things are good. So maybe the tactic on this, in my opinion, should be when the market is bullish, look at exchange tokens. Look at the fact that there's going to be more users coming into the market, flooding into the market, and you can look at all the other ones. Now, I'm going to put a weekly level here. keep it nice and simple where those wicks are, where it literally stopped and turned around. Now, you got to look at all kinds of levels, but personally, I think in a bearish market, we're going to see obviously a price fall, but that is where we're going to see the test of time of this. How will exchange token survive? Because double-edged sword here. Let me just put this on here before I forget. Exchanges still need volume, whether it's selling volume or not. If you are still interested in using a product and a service, it doesn't matter on the price technically, because there's still going to be users. Now, obviously in a bull run, there's going to be more price action. Why? Because more people are going to be obviously using it, in my opinion. But for me, when you're looking at stuff like the CRO token or the MCO token or the Binance token or whatever, they always do okay. They always stay quite steady. Obviously, with the 2017 bull run, obviously you can't really compare anything to that. But when you look at previous cycles of alt seasons and stuff, they tend to do okay. Reality-wise, they tend to hold quite strong. We often joke sometimes in my group that MCO token, the CRO token, quite stable currencies. They do all right in dumps and stuff. So it's definitely important to factor that in. In terms of this, obviously, starting to put a little bit of weekly structure on there. Obviously, it's getting quite, we might have another top structure here. But for me, it's far too early to say yet. But regardless of anything that you're looking to do in the industry, in my opinion, having a really good level of, just a bit of having a exchange token, in my opinion, is definitely a good place to be, especially if you're using it. And I use it. I hold a bit of CRO token, not much though. But for me, I think if you're gonna be looking at an asset and you've done your fundamental research to buy into a company, essentially to use a company, why not look at accumulating quite a few more? So for me, this could just take off. Disclaimer here, not financial advice, but if the Crypto.com platform carries on growing the way it's growing, the more cards are getting issued, the more people, the more coins that are adopted onto the space, it's going to rival the likes of Coinbase, in my opinion. Because everyone talks about Coinbase listings, amount of users on it. Yeah, there's a lot of users on it and stuff like that, but ultimately, when you see things get listed on the Crypto.com website and on their exchange, it is very, very easy for me to pick up this device, put in my card number, and literally buy anything with zero fees. Literally, as it stands right now, there's no fees. I pay people that work for me in Crypto.com. I literally just send it via text message, off it goes. Happy days. It is a brilliant bit of kit, and I don't think people realistically realise that until we get a proper demand cycle. When we get a demand cycle, I think the likes of Crypto.com will do very well. Obviously, I think Binance will do well again because obviously they've got so many products. You got the likes of OKX as well, which is obviously the chart that I'm using right now on their exchange. They'll probably do very well. They get a lot of people in. They get people in through people recommendations of coins. If the coins are on Crypto.com and Crypto.com has 0% fees, well, they're going to actually have to do something with the token. One, if they're doing syndicates, they've got to hold the token. Two, if they're spending the money, if they hold the Crypto.com, the CRO token, they get cash back on certain things if they're using the gift cards, and also if they're using the exchange on the internet, obviously the desktop version. So there's definitely utility there. The biggest beneficiary factor of all this is you need to understand why these tokens do well. And ultimately, it is a utility. This stops your fees. This stops all the issues that you see all the time with the likes of Ethereum, Bitcoin, where you can send stuff over. Enable cross-asset current settlement, essentially. So it'll give you the correct price. Obviously, you got the settlement of the block fees, transactions, all this kind of stuff here. Minimal fees for the minimum transaction, which is obviously quite good. So it's absolutely key you understand that a token utility of something as simple as reducing fees is absolutely key. Obviously, the MCO tokens, obviously the way that works is obviously different, where that's mainly for the cards and stuff. It's obviously got a lot less tokens as well, traded on more places. But for me, if you are looking to hold the CRO token to enable you to get less fees for using and sending fees over and transactions on the Crypto.com network, it's definitely a thing where you can think that could actually be an investment, which sounds daft when you think of the overall beneficiary factor that it's not really a tradable asset. It's mainly a buy and use asset. So there you go. In terms of this though, like if you're looking at like investments, this is going up. This has just been mooning. It's been crazy, but it has obviously came down. But this governs the success of the Crypto.com company. So keep an eye on the news. Personally, I think this will do all right in dumps. If you're looking at like a fib of this, like swing low, swing high, or swing low to the swing high, you can look at this, 8 cents level. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that's going to be very, very unlikely unless there's a horrendous bear market and something really bad happens to the company. But for me, overall, any dip, definitely look at buying it, especially if you're using the Crypto.com service. If you're using the service, if you're in the syndicates, it's definitely something to keep hold of because you get some free assets. Why not go for it? So there you go. When to invest in CRO? Well, whenever you want, really. If you're using the company, it's definitely a sound investment in my honest viewpoint. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. So yeah, video, crack on, jump in, and we'll see you again tomorrow.